There are only a few days left until February 2026 ends. And you probably haven't noticed. But Baba Vanga noticed. 40 years ago. She saw something specific for the last days of this month. Not for February in general. Not for winter 2026. For the last days. The final days. The hours we are living now. In her 1985 notebooks, she wrote, "When February 2026 is ending, pay attention. Because what happens in the last 3 days will determine what comes in March. And March will be relentless. 72 hours. 3 days. The end of February 2026. And if you look at today's news, if you pay attention to what is happening right now, you will realize something terrifying. Baba Vanga was right. Again. And the last days of February are not just the end of a month. They are the warning before the storm. Before I reveal the 5 signs she saw. If what you just heard gave you chills, like this video now. Seriously. Hit that like button. Because when February ends and March begins, you'll want to have paid attention. And if you're not already subscribed to Prophetic Destiny, subscribe now and turn on the notifications. Why? Because in the next video, I'm going to reveal what Baba Vanga said about the first 72 hours of March. And you don't want to miss this. Now, let me explain why the last days of February matter so much. Baba Vanga didn't make random prophecies. When she was specific about dates, it was because something truly important was happening. She predicted Chernobyl and gave the year, 1986. She predicted the tsunami and gave the year, 2004. She predicted her own death and gave the exact date, August 11, 1996. And in 1985, she made notes about the last days of February 2026. Why those days? What is so special about the final days of this month? According to Baba Vanga, the last days of February are when the seeds planted in January begin to sprout. And what sprouts will determine whether March will be harvest, or destruction. She was talking about events. 5 specific signs that would appear in the last 3 days of February. And if you're watching this video now, in these last days of the month, you are exactly where you should be. Because what follows will make you understand that these 72 hours are no coincidence. Let's begin. Sign 1, the tremor that no one hears but everyone feels. Baba Vanga wrote about the last days of February. In the final days of the second month, the numbers will begin to dance. It won't be obvious. Most won't notice. But those who pay attention will see, the ground beneath their feet is cracking. The numbers will begin to dance. She was talking about the economy. About markets. Money. And if you've looked at the financial news over the last 3 days, you've seen exactly what she predicted. Bitcoin fluctuated 12% in 48 hours, for no apparent reason. Asian stock indices showing extreme volatility in the last days of February. Central banks making unexpected moves at the end of the month. Emerging market currencies plummeting in recent days. It won't be obvious. Most won't notice. Exactly. The mainstream media isn't making a fuss. They're calling it normal end-of-month adjustments. But Baba Vanga saw this as the beginning. The silent tremor of February, she said, will become the audible collapse of March. And here's what will really freeze you. She specified that this tremor would happen as February is dying. Last days. Last hours. Right now. If you have money invested, if you have savings, Pay attention to what is happening in these last days of February. Because according to Baba Vanga, when March begins, the silent tremor will become impossible to ignore. Sign 2, when water speaks before it acts. In her notes on the last days of February, Baba Vanga wrote something enigmatic. The water will warn before it attacks. In the last days of February, it will show its teeth. Some will hear the warning. Others will ignore it. And in March, the water will no longer warn. The water will warn. What does that mean? In the last 72 hours, literally the last days of February 2026, look at what's happening. Flash floods in regions that never flood in the last days of the month. River levels fluctuating inexplicably at the end of February. Reservoirs showing strange patterns in the last hours of the month. Meteorologists confused by water behavior in the final days. She will show her teeth. Baba Vanga wasn't talking about total disaster in February. She was talking about warning. The water is behaving strangely in the last days of this month. Not catastrophically. Just, strangely. Some will hear the warning. Others will ignore it. If you live near water, rivers, lakes, coast, and you've seen something strange in the last few days, it's no coincidence. It's the warning Baba Vanga saw 40 years ago. And she was very clear about what comes next. In March, the water will no longer warn. It will simply act. The last days of February are the window. The opportunity to pay attention. To prepare. Because according to Baba Vanga, when March begins, the water will stop talking and start screaming. Sign 3, when the sky gives signs that few see. Baba Vanga devoted an entire section of her notebooks to the celestial phenomena of the last days of February. She wrote, "When the second month is dying, look at the sky at dusk. There will be lights. Not obvious. Not dramatic. But there. And those with eyes to see will understand, something is changing above." In the last 3 days, exactly in the last days of February 2026. More than 50 sightings of unidentified lights reported in the last 72 hours. Pilots reporting unusual interference with instruments at the end of February. Observatories detecting anomalies in the last days of the month. Rare atmospheric phenomena appearing right now. Not obvious. Not dramatic. Exactly. It's not an alien invasion. It's not giant flying saucers. They are subtle signs. Strange lights at dusk. Interference. Anomalies. Things that most will ignore or explain away as rare natural phenomena. But Baba Vanga saw these subtle signs in the last days of February as preparation. In March, she said, what is whispering in the sky will begin to scream. And no one will be able to ignore it anymore. If you've looked up at the sky in the last few days and seen something strange. If you felt that the sky is different in these last hours of February, you're not crazy. You are paying attention to the warning that Baba Vanga saw decades ago. And in March, the whisper will become a roar. Stop. Listen to what I'm going to tell you now. If you've made it this far, if something inside you is saying, this is true, then you need to do 3 things right now. First, hit that like button. Seriously. Do it now. Because this video needs to reach more people before February ends. Second, leave a comment saying, #lastdays, so I know you're paying attention. And that way other people will see that they're not alone. Third, and most importantly, if you're not already subscribed, subscribe now and turn on the notification bell. Why? Because in the next video I'm going to reveal what Baba Vanga said about the first 72 hours of March. And I guarantee you, what she saw for the beginning of March will make these last days of February seem like just a gentle warning. But if you're not subscribed with the bell activated, you will miss it. And when March begins and you realize she was right again, it will be too late. So do it now, like, comment #lastdays. Sign up. Activate the bell. Let's continue. Because the next two signs are the most personal. Sign 4, when brothers stop recognizing each other. In Baba Vanga's notes on the last days of February, there is a phrase that has always confused interpreters. At the end of the second month, the line will become darker. It will not be new. It has always been there. But in the last days of February, it will become impossible to ignore. The line will become darker. She was talking about division. Between people. Between families. Between friends. And if you've been paying attention over the last 3 days, you felt it, haven't you? Conversations that used to be normal now end in conflict. People close to you suddenly seem different. Arguments about topics that were never a problem before. A strange feeling that people don't understand each other anymore. And all of this intensified, precisely in the last days of February. It was always there. Baba Vanga wasn't saying that the division is new. It has always existed. But she predicted that in the last days of February 2026, this division would become so obvious that it would be impossible to pretend it doesn't exist. Brothers will stop recognizing each other in the last days. And when March arrives, some will never recognize each other again. If you've had a strange argument with someone close to you in the last few days. If you felt that people are different in the last 72 hours. It's not just you. It's the sign Baba Vanga saw. The line that has always existed is getting darker. More visible. More permanent. And according to her, when March begins, the line will become an abyss. The last days of February are the last moment when bridges can still be built. After that, it will be too late. Sign 5, when you realize you've been called. And now, the most personal sign Baba Vanga saw for the last days of February. The one she guarded most carefully. The one she called the real reason these days matter. In 1985, she wrote, in the last 3 days of February 2026, something will change in certain individuals. They won't be able to explain it. But they will feel it. A restlessness. A certainty. A feeling that they must pay attention. They will feel it. Let me ask you a question. Why are you watching this video? Of all the millions of videos you could be watching right now, why this one? Why, exactly in the last days of February 2026, were you drawn to information about what Baba Vanga saw for these days? Coincidence? Or are you one of those she saw, awakening in the last days of the second month? Baba Vanga said that certain individuals, scattered around the world, with no apparent connection, would feel something different in the last days of February. A restlessness they cannot name. A sense that something is changing. An urgent need to pay attention. And here's the part that will make you question everything. Those who feel this in the last days of February, she wrote, are the ones who have been prepared for what comes in March. They don't know it yet. But when March begins, they will know exactly what to do. So if you're feeling something strange these last few days, if something inside you is restless, alert, paying attention, if you know that these days are important, even if you can't explain why, Maybe it's not anxiety. Maybe it's preparation. Baba Vanga saw you 40 years ago, paying attention, in the last days of February 2026. And she said that when March comes, you will understand why. So here is the truth about the last days of February 2026. The silent economic tremor. Happening. The water that warns. Happening. The sky that whispers. Happening. The division that accelerates. Happening. The awakening of those who pay attention. Happening. 5 signs. 3 days. The last moments of February. Baba Vanga saw it all in 1985. And she saw something else. The last days of February are the warning. The first hours of March are the answer. February is ending. March is coming. And you have been warned. The last hours of February 2026. The 5 signs are happening. Now. As you watch. And if you've made it this far, if you've paid attention until the end, you need to do 4 things right now. First, hit that like button if you feel this video is important. Do it now. Second, share it with someone who needs to see this before February ends. Send it on WhatsApp. Tag someone. Do it now. Third, leave a comment saying #lastdays. I want to know who else is paying attention. Write it now. Fourth, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell. Why? Because in the next video, which will be released as soon as March begins, I will reveal. Baba Vanga warned, the first 72 hours of March 2026 will be decisive. And what she saw for the beginning of March. It will make you understand why the last days of February were just the warning. March is when everything changes. And if you're not subscribed with the bell activated, you will miss out. So do it now, like. Comment #lastdays. Share. Subscribe. Activate the bell. Last hours of February. Pay attention to the 5 signs. And when March begins, be ready. Because Baba Vanga was right about the last days of February. And she will be right about the first few hours of March. See you in the next video. When March begins. Stay informed. Stay prepared. And above all, stay alert. Because the last days of February are ending. And what comes in March will change everything. Until next time. And remember, you've been warned.